Well, for more, let's cross now to our senior reporter Catherine Norris-Trent in Jerusalem. Catherine, Netanyahu determined, it seems, to defy calls for restraint and push on with a ground incursion.
Good morning. Yes, it seems that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not heeding the growing chorus of international calls against any military incursion into Rafah. The French Prime Minister Emmanuel Macron spoke with Netanyahu on the phone and said that the humanitarian situation there was intolerable and that Israeli actions there, military actions, must stop. We've also had the Prime Ministers of Canada, Australia and New Zealand putting out a joint statement against any offensive in Rafah. And of course, this is a kind of thing we've heard from several countries in the West and across the Arab world, to name just a few of them. But yet Netanyahu seems to not be stepping down from his stance at all. He put out a statement on Twitter saying that only military pressure and firm negotiations had got the return of any Israeli hostages, and that is the tactic they must pursue. So, of course, huge questions about when that might come, if it comes, and what form it would take. The Israeli military, in briefings to journalists, has suggested that they could look to be performing limited incursions into the Rafah area as part of what they call a puzzle, perhaps along the lines of the one we saw a few days ago to free 2 Israeli hostages. But that was accompanied by a fierce aerial bombardment, which the Hamas-run health ministry said killed 67 people there, and doctors in Gaza reporting civilian deaths as well. So they're not, lightning in and out raids with no civilian consequences at all. And as yet, the Israeli authorities haven't published any plans for any evacuation of civilians in Gaza. Despite the dire humanitarian conditions, they have said that they will provide a path to safety, but at this stage it's really not clear how that could happen.
Meanwhile, Catherine, ceasefire talks in Cairo very much stalling this Thursday.
Well, that's right. Israel had sent envoys to Cairo to listen to the latest proposals for a ceasefire and hostage release on Tuesday. But it's been reported here that Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered Israeli envoys not to return to Cairo this Thursday. A Hamas delegation is being sent there to listen to the latest proposals drawn up in this framework drawn up by the US, Egypt and Qatar. Now, this decision by Netanyahu is being met with quite a great deal of anger here from hostages' families, some of whom are planning to demonstrate against the move today in Tel Aviv. They said it's tantamount to a death sentence for their loved ones still held hostage in Gaza. And indeed, there's been anger expressed from within the Israeli War Cabinet, members there, some of them saying that they weren't informed of this decision, that being reported in Israeli media. But you heard from Netanyahu in his statement on X, formerly Twitter, saying that he was calling for military pressure and firm negotiations. Perhaps this is another tactic of firm negotiations. In any case, he's calling on Hamas to give up what he calls its delusional demands. It's believed a sticking point at this stage is about the number of Palestinian prisoners which would be released. But this situation, again, hitting a sticking point, even though the negotiations are continuing in Egypt.
Catherine Norris-Trent reporting from Jerusalem there. Thank you very much.